Welcome back to the Carolina Beat, everyone. I'm here with Tom Gale from Coldwell Banker Seacoast Advantage, along with John from Alpha Mortgage. How are you both?
Great, how are you?
Nice to see you again. Now let's talk a little bit about, Tom, what is the first step when it comes to buying a home?
Everybody always wants to get right in and look at a home.
I just want to get in there.
That's right. But
I don't have time for the broker.
But the first thing I ask is, how are you planning on financing it? Because, of course, I want to make sure that you have a comfortable mortgage payment. And I also want to make sure that we get and look and see if there's any blemishes on your credit that you might not even be aware about. In this day and age, there are so many people that will steal your credit. So the sooner we find that out, the sooner we can start working to correct that and get the process started.
That literally just happened to me in Atlanta. Someone said I had a blip on my CRA, and I was like, what are you talking about? They said from 4 years ago. I'm like, what? So I had to go in, and it wasn't me at all.
Right.
It was some that I had no idea.
Right.
John, this is why it's super important. How do you get pre-approved so then we can go back to Tom and buy that fabulous house?
So the process is real easy. It takes about 15 minutes. We can do it online, on the phone, in person, whichever is comfortable for the client. And I just gather 2 years tax returns, 2 pay stubs, 2 bank statements, and 2 years W-2s, and we're rocking and rolling.
All right, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a question, if I may.
Okay.
Is it different if you're self-employed as opposed to a PAYE?
It is different where the corporate returns become part of the equation.
Is it tougher? Because you know most people who have a small business don't pay the normal amount of tax.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And being in Wilmington, we have a lot of self-employed borrowers. So we do it day in and day out, so we're prepared.
Minimum down payment?
It can be as little as 0%.
How is that possible?
So there's a couple of government loans that have 0% required. And then, but in the conventional world that most people are familiar with, as little as 3% down. But most people like to put down the 20%.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, do you suggest a local lender?
Yes, me.
So, yeah, no, the advantage of using somebody local.
That was a trick question. I was just going to see if you'd slip up.
But yeah, the advantage of using somebody local is that they know the market, just like I need to know the local market. You can do a loan outside of your primary state. But I've had people from California ask where our earthquake insurance, and luckily we don't have to get earthquake insurance in order to buy over here. So you want somebody local that knows the market.
And that's another thing I wanted to just step in. Why is it? Because your offices are pretty close together. I think you're upstairs and you're downstairs. Is that right? Why is it so important to be able to work together as a team when we come to you to begin with? Because a lot of us don't think to go to you first.
Yeah, right.
So, well, you definitely want to go with somebody that knows what they're doing and, again, knows the local market. And then also, too, if he's not picking up my phone call, I just go downstairs and make sure I track him down. So.
Yeah.
So Tom can get me on a Saturday or Sunday if he needs me, because the market's hot and you need a pre-approval like that. And
okay,
that's
you
the
just
local
said
advantage
like
as well.
that.
Yeah.
How quick am I approved?
I can approve somebody in 15 minutes, literally.
Okay, now I have also been told at the end of, before you close, am I using the right terminology? They run again. You do another pre-approval or whatever.
So what we do is a soft pull. We look at your credit, doesn't hurt your score, just to make sure that you didn't go out and buy a new car or all the furniture for your house.
Okay, so it's about keeping in line with your monthly affordables.
That's exactly right.
Okay, interest rates, I want to ask you, do you believe in a fixed or one of those ones that go up and variable?
Right. So
where do you feel?
With the rates as low as they are, I suggest you go with a fixed, unless you know for sure that you're just going to be in this town for like a 3-year contract and you're leaving. Then we should look at like a 5-year adjustable.
How long? Okay, that was an interesting. You just said 3 years. How often, or how long should you keep a home for rising valuation? What's the average?
Yeah, the average right now is about 7. It's getting a little bit longer right now. So it depends, on everybody's. If you're a younger person, you're going to move more often than if it's a retiree that might be there for 20 years.
I got you, guys. Great information.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
If you want to find out how these two power brokers can get you into that home that you've always dreamed of, there's all the information up on the screen for you. Go over and see John from Mortgage Broker with Alpha Mortgage, and of course, the man Tom. Back up with this short break.